In this video, I'm talking with Laura Stone, author of A Pocket Guide to Purpose, and we're going to delve a little bit more into Laura's personal story. Laura, lovely to speak with you.
As well.
So we've been speaking a lot about the books and the keynotes and the all those different things.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about your personal journey here, because this has been very meaningful to you.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask a little bit about your own path. Where does this all come from? You've been doing this work for decades. This is a distillation of years of work.
Yes. And it's been a process where, I'm not just handing this out to others and expecting it to come overnight, although some people have that experience where they can get it very quickly. For me, it was an evolution as well, where there's a saying where you teach with what you must learn.
Right.
And I had the opportunity where I was teaching this work in London once a month for about 2 years.
Did you have to fly to London every month?
Every month I was in London. And it was a very intense time, but amazing, because we got to work with 30 executives of the top 500 at a time. And during that process, the whole point of the work was helping those executives figure out their purpose. Why are they there? And then help them build out a purpose plan. And really looking at 5 years, 3 years, 6 months, and trying to have it all come together. Well, you can't do this for someone else unless, let me put it this way, it makes it much more authentic and real when you can speak from personal experience to be doing this with these executives.
Well, and the engagement with these questions would force you, whether you wanted to or not. If you're asking other people, you've got to be at some level answering yourself.
Absolutely. And so there were some very powerful, poignant moments when I was teaching. And part of it was, there was one story where I had to get up and talk about our sweet spot. And that to me relates back to what we're unique at.
Of course.
And for me, it was a painful story. And it was about, I grew up thinking I was dumb. My mother, like when I was handwriting, and this is before computers, handwriting reports out.
I've heard of writing by hand.
I know, amazing, right? I remember vividly, she would have a red pen and the white paper that I write on, and it was mostly red that came out.
Oh.
And so I just felt like I don't know how to write. I'm not, and ironically, yes, I'm a writer now, but even then, even now, I don't think of myself as a writer, because real people write certain ways, and I'm just another kind of writer that, come in. But the story of watching through time situations that I saw friends of mine, in class would get A's on certain exams on standardized tests that I struggled with. And so I always felt that someone was going to find me out, because I just realized I'm just dumb. That's what I thought. I'm just dumb. I don't get this, certain things. And through the process of life, and I was an English major in college, which is really crazy to think what I'm about to tell you was really true. At age 36, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. So severe that I am borderline mentally retarded, literally. So now that explains a lot, right? But it's kind of like going into a supermarket and realizing it's nothing to do with the food that you're looking for. It's actually in the back corner in the pharmacy, and it's penicillin. That's how narrow and deep it was, and people couldn't pick up on it. So because I am able to function well, and it wasn't apparent until I kind of was going through an incredibly stressful time where 9/11 had hit. I was moved out of my house. I had 2 babies under the age of 2.
That's stressful.
And
no sleep for you.
No sleep, and realizing my major clients that I was going to be going back to after maternity leave were now no longer possible, and thinking about doing this work, and everything got pushed out, on top of trying to build a house. So we're homeless and just happy to find light switches and diapers along the way. And it wasn't until I kind of went through that crisis in my own life where I had the opportunity to get help. I finally realized I needed help. I couldn't figure this out on my own. It wasn't something about going to talk to a friend. It was really a time that I needed outside help, where someone finally, 6 months into the work, said to me, "You actually are dyslexic, but let's go get this checked out." And the day that I learned I had dyslexia, it was a huge relief and revelation for me, but something I always knew at the same time. And they The challenge, though, was like, now what? What could I have been had I known this? And it took me many years to understand what the gifts were and what the uniqueness was about me by having dyslexia, that what are things that I can do that no one else can do? And I didn't value that. I thought everyone can, come in and listen to a conversation and pick out the few things and do it really quick and move on. I thought everyone could just draw a picture that synthesizes everyone's viewpoint and does it in a way that they use as a strategy moving forward in a logo for alignment. I thought so you can go through these things that we take for granted. And that's why in talking about this book is so powerful, because I was standing up in front of these executives talking about my sweet spot and talking about the pain that I had to go through to understand. And I got verklempt in the room. And the room was absolutely silent. And I'm just trying to hold it together enough that I don't burst into tears. So I just kept going, okay, Stone, keep it together, don't cry, this is your time, the main client's over there, I'm gonna get in trouble or something. And I just kept myself grounded enough to get through teaching, helping us see what we're each here for and the value we bring. And so I tell the story because by teaching that content opened doors for others to step into a place where they felt vulnerable and now realize for themselves gifts that they had been taking for granted for so long, and being able to see things about themselves that they didn't honor. And this is a real honoring process.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your insight there. For those of you who'd like to find out more, please do visit us online at one of the free websites, purposestone.com, purposesource.com, and of course, pocketguidetopurpose.com.